computer. Yeah, it's recording, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. We begin now. Okay, hello everyone. In this time, we are going to discuss about our group presentations for the module of public management and leaderships. We take public leaderships and organization as our topic, and we choose entrepreneur in public organizations, the role of leadership behaviors from Mehmet, Akif, Demircioglu, and Farzana Chowdury. Is it published online on 3rd March 2020. Our group consists of Kamala Khanim, Ahmad Fahrian Aditya, Andrea, and Nasiruddin. In these presentations, we divide our presentations into 4 sections. Those are introductions, will be delivered by Kamala. Task and relations-oriented behavior will be delivered by me. Role of leadership and data by Andrea. And the closing by Nasir. So we begin our presentations from introductions by Kamala. Okay, Kamala, the floor is yours.
Hello, everyone. I'm going to give a brief introduction about public sector entrepreneurship and the significance of leadership and the role of leadership. Public sector entrepreneurship integrates 2 distinct concepts, public sector and entrepreneurship in itself. Therefore, we need to look at this meaning of these 2 terms. Entrepreneurship is the opportunities for exploration and exploitation, while public sector organizations owned or funded by governments, and they are managed under the political authority. Public sector entrepreneurship can be defined as the process that exists within the public sector organization that results in innovative activities such as the development of new and existing services, technologies, administrative techniques, new improved strategies, risk-taking, and proactivity. And this definition is according to Carney, and there are many definitions about this term. And why being entrepreneurial in public sector is important, because we are living in globalized and fast-changing world, which it means the demands for public services are increasing day by day. So in order to meet the requirements of the modern society, the public sector organizations need to be innovative, creative, as well as entrepreneurial. However, some studies indicated that being entrepreneurial in public sector tends to be low, and there are some reasons behind it. Maybe one of those reasons can be related to their risk-averse nature, because as we know, in public sector, they're mostly afraid of taking risks, and they try to avoid risks as much as possible. Or maybe the other reasons can be because of their bureaucratic structures, for example, the reward mechanisms and the complexity of the working environments. All of those things discourage public sector employees from being innovative within their duties. And that's why how to increase entrepreneurial activity in public sector is an important question. And as my group mate mentioned earlier, today we'll mainly focus on the role and behavior of leadership and the impact of it on entrepreneurship in public sectors. So therefore, the relationship between leadership and public sector entrepreneurship worst and need to be analyzed, because leaders are playing an important role in public sector, because they're taking great responsibilities in terms of organizational survival, success, efficiency, creation of public value. Also, they have a great influence on how effectively and efficiently organizations provide services to their customers. And they also play important role in terms of decision making, and they acquire resources, change strategies, also motivate employees to be entrepreneurial within the organization. Next slide, please. And some scholars divide public entrepreneurs into the categories like political entrepreneur, bureaucratic, executive, and policy entrepreneurs, while other scholars look at the public sector entrepreneurs in terms of the role they are playing. For example, according to Klein, public sector entrepreneurs play 4 different roles, like rules of the game, new public organization, creative management of public resources, and finally, spillover private actions to the private domain. And the other scholar, Levaya, also suggests that public sector entrepreneurs play 3 different roles, like economic facilitation and regulation, civil political service agent, and commercial market participation. And in this article, public sector entrepreneur defined as in order to achieve an organization's objective, an employee works beyond what is required in his or her job, goes the extra mile, and suggests ideas or policies that improve how the organization and its members work. And what to do in order to find improved ways to provide services? The answer is they would have to come up with new ideas, create design, and manage the resources necessary for bringing ideas to fruition. And Ahmad, next slide, please. Next one. I've already talked about it. Yes, thank you. And about significance of leadership and leadership behavior, I'm going to give very brief information about it because my group mates, my colleagues will mainly focus on it with details. Firstly, we need to define leadership. There are many definitions regarding leadership, but in this article, according to Yuko, leadership is the process of influencing others to understand and agree about what needs to be done and how it can be done effectively, and the process of facilitating individual and collective efforts to accomplish the shared objective. And the significant role of managers in the organizations need to be taken into account. I've already talked about the role of leaders in organizations and why it is important. And about managers also play an important role because they possess a particular form of leadership, and they mainly focus on problem solving, and they are putting processes together and in effective ways in order to accomplish strategic goals. And there are 3 types of leadership behavior, namely task-oriented, relations-oriented, and change-oriented. And I'm gonna stop here because my group mates will discuss about it. Thank you so much. Ahmad, please. You can continue.
Okay, thank you, Kamala. Now we are focusing about the 3 types of leadership behavior in entrepreneurships, and my point is about task-oriented behavior and result-oriented behaviors. Task-oriented behaviors, or we call it as a task-oriented leaders, have appropriate knowledge and skills, along with the ability to communicate to fellow employees that they need to be willing to provide, improve, or innovative ways to provide services to their constituents. The task-oriented leaders are visible and engaged in achieving organizational goals, public sectoral, entrepreneurial activity that requires not only task identifications and providing strategic directions, but also coordinations among employees. To generate entrepreneurial activity, leaders need to be able to motivate, design tasks, and delegate and coordinate human resources. They are also able to effectively manage setting goals, allocating labor, and enforcing sanctions. They initiate structure for their followers, define the roles of others, explain what to do and why, establish well-defined patterns of organizations and channels of communications, and determine the ways to accomplish assignments. Skills and engagements are important components of task-oriented behavior. Task-oriented leaders are also able to effectively communicate the organization goals. By communicating effectively with team members, he or she is better to establish a common goal by making the employees want to contribute to realizing the visions. It established the discussions and open dialogue among team members. So, task-oriented leadership can increase employees' knowledge and ability to be entrepreneurial while providing a strategic directions for the agency that is sufficiently visible to employees. So when the leader have a task-oriented, they are focusing on the goal that can deliver to their subordinates to achieve the goals together. And the second is relations-oriented behaviors. This behavior focuses on creating an environment that allows subordinates to flourish by empowering and encouraging their subordinates. For example, treating the employees with respect, managing diversity in the workplace, inviting employees to express opinions, and helping develop employees' capability, knowledge, and skills. It also encourages an organizational culture of knowledge sharing and task interdependence. A good organization, individuals learn from each other through interactions and knowledge sharing. Through these interactions, organizational members can embrace each other's opinions, exchange the ideas, and share knowledge from the previous and a new experience, as well as knowledge acquired through different sources. So their capabilities and skills can increase. It creates opportunities for employees to develop social networks, invest in human capital, support opportunity for all members of organizations. And the last, relation-oriented leadership is positively associated with empowerment, participation, job satisfactions, motivations, commitment, and higher performance. So it can help increase entrepreneurships in the public sectors. And next is Andrea. Yes.
Hi. Central role in driving change within organizations, making the behavior the bloodline of effective firm performance. Although organizations are characterized by structures and incentives that discourage entrepreneurial behavior, certainly for entrepreneurial activity in the public sector, effective leadership traits unlock human potential but enhance abilities. Notably, change-oriented leadership behavior has been found to positively impact firm performance due to its ability to foster learning and heighten innovation. A study by Demircioglu and Chowdury shows that change-oriented leadership behavior is positively associated with public sector entrepreneurship, highlighting the need for leaders to develop positive relations. Next slide, please. The target population for the study comprised 98,000 working in public service in Australia. The study utilized data from Australia's 2017 State of the Service participated in the study. Furthermore, the researchers used two employee categories, senior executive service. The dependent variable was entrepreneurship, while the independent variables were three: change-oriented, relation-oriented, and task-oriented leadership. The study adopted the general analytical approach. 2017 State of the Service Employee Census was extracted. The relevance of the Australian on the premise that the agency prioritized innovation and entrepreneurship in public organizations. Managers in Australian public organizations demonstrate high autonomy and make independent decisions related to encouraging employees' creativity and entrepreneurship. The study results shows a positive oriented leadership behavior and entrepreneurship. Further, the findings shows that mediating effect of adaptation, individual creativity, and innovative employee behavior on the relationship between results-oriented entrepreneurship. A practical implication of the study is that the results-centered leadership trait is critical to entrepreneurship in public organizations, as it facilitates learning and increases innovation. Thank you.
Now, Mr. Nasir, please. And closing statement as well. You are still mute.
So
Okay,
the
great.
research question of these articles is, are leadership behaviors associated with the entrepreneurial behavior among public employees? To find out the relationship with the public entrepreneurship and the leadership, the two researchers have made three hypotheses. That is, task-oriented leadership behavior, is it related with the positive entrepreneurship as hypothesis 1, hypothesis 2, relations-oriented leadership behavior, and hypothesis 3 is change-oriented relationship behavior. Fortunately, the results shows that all of these three types of leadership behaviors are much related with the entrepreneurial behavior in public sector. But importantly, hypothesis 2, that is the relations-oriented leadership behavior, is much more related or connected with the entrepreneurial behaviors of the leaders in the public sectors, and followed by the change-oriented leadership behaviors. And task-oriented leadership behavior is slightly related with the entrepreneurial behaviors of the leaders in a public sector. So these are the three hypotheses, and all of these three hypotheses are positively related with the findings. The important findings, so we can summarize that as from this article. So yes, leadership behavior is crucial for entrepreneurship in the public sector, and it has a very good connection with the leadership behaviors and the organization goal, structure, and environment. Because leadership can change the organization, adopt the new things, and empower the employees and motivate them. So there is a great relationship in the entrepreneurial behavior and the leadership. The another finding is senior executives, because sometimes we think that the seniors are not agree to adapt with the changing leadership. But this the findings shows that senior executives are even more entrepreneurial than middle level managers. And another important finding is that is entrepreneurship can be learned and it can be improved. So if the leaders trained the employees or encourage them to share the knowledge. So in this entrepreneurship can be learned and it can be improved. Another findings that drew my attention, especially that is women are more entrepreneurial than men. So the leaders should more emphasize on the female employees so that they can make the goal of the organization be fruitful very quickly, and they should encourage the female worker to involve in the public sector because they are much more entrepreneurship than the men. And another finding is size or work location or agency do not have the impact on the employees' entrepreneurship. Next slide, please. So far my three friends already discussed how leadership impact or changes or bring positive results with the entrepreneurship. This is just the summaries. That is, leaders can empower the employments, and they can facilitate the participation. That is, they can participate in the decision making, and in the same way they can motivate them, and leaders allow the employees to share the knowledge, and they can share the same experience with other colleagues and innovative ideas. And the most important thing that one leader should generally do and must do, that is expanding the mental horizon of the employees, because if leaders doesn't show the vision and mission, the employees would not be engaged in the result-oriented activities. So these are the sum of key points how leaders make the employees more entrepreneurship. Next slide. Like all other articles, these articles has also some limitations. These findings cannot be generalized because the data has been taken from a developed country, that is Adrian already mentioned, from Australia public sector employees. So Australia, as we know, Australia is a developed country, so we cannot generalize these findings with the other countries like developing countries. And another point is data are not casual interpretation, because the cause and effect method has not been tested in this research. Only the cross-section data have been used. Another limitation is that is public entrepreneurship has been tested from the management perspective. It hasn't been from the policy perspective. So from this point of view, we couldn't generalize the findings. And the researchers also suggest other researchers to test servant leadership or leader member exchange theory to test whether public leadership is effective in positive entrepreneurship or not. So these are the limitation of these articles. So thank you guys for this nice presentation. Now I request Mr. Ahmed to sum up the presentation.
Okay, thank you everyone for your presentations. It's already said by Nasir that 3 categories of role leaderships are related to the public sectoral organizations. So if public organizations sector wants to have a good moral value for their organizations, we can use entrepreneurial value into the public sector organizations, especially related to the relations between the leaders and their subordinates. So it's
Right.
Yeah, it's kind of a new public management, and it's really useful for public sector organizations to improve the performance and capacity for their organizations to be a better job. Okay, thank you everyone. Thank you Kamala, thank you Andrea, thank you Nasir. We hope our
Okay.
presentation will be useful for those, especially in public sector organizations.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.